if someone like myself who hasn't seen this movie, I have seen it now, but let's pretend I hadn't seen it yet, and you were trying to convince me to watch the movie. Beyond just telling them all of those beautiful things and how important this movie is to a lot of people, if you could just show me one scene to get me to watch this movie, what would you show me? Kelly, I'll start with you.
So I think it has to be the scene where you're first introduced to Dr. Frankenfurter. Like when he does the sweet transvestite, when he comes down off the elevator. And I think that's just the best scene ever. So yeah, first time you meet Tim Curry.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was my answer as well. And I feel like that was my answer as well. And I just feel like because that's where you're really like, oh, that's what this movie is. Like, this is where we're going. And it's like Tim Curry, like he does some stuff to you. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, damn, okay. Like I'll watch, like I want to watch this guy dance and swing his legs around and sing, and like his booming voice and the way he carries himself. It's just, it's really impressive. It's very magnetic and very charismatic. And it just gives you a sense of what you're in for. For the sake of having a different scene, I'll just say maybe the "Damn It, Janet" song, just because it's so funny.
I love
it. Kind of get a sense of it's so just fun. It but doesn't really
Janet.
It doesn't. Damn it, Janet.
The road was long, but I ran it.
Janet.
There's a fire in my heart, and you fan it.
Janet.
If there's one fool for you, then I am it.
Janet.
I've one thing to say, and that's damn it, Janet. I love you.
It doesn't really cue you in for what you're about to get yourself into, but at least it's funny and silly. So, but I agree. The first time you meet Frankenfurter's probably.
I love the way he charms both of them. Like you know, it's so sexy the way like he plays with both of them, and I just love it. I love it.
Caleb, what would you show me?
Kelly's answer is probably my top answer. If you're trying to get your let's just say your parents who go to church every Sunday to watch it, I would say a pretty good scene to start them with would be the time warp.
Yeah.
Just because it's a little more mild. I mean, for Rocky Horror Picture Show, mild. But like it's this really fun, just kind of like it's got to be like, it's a cliche, but it's my favorite song in the. Like, it's just so silly. And like, you have the party goers. That's another thing with the party goers. Like, they're not their typical like actors. They have like everybody represented there. Like, they're just normal people that they just got in to put on a party hat and dance with the time warp. Like, I love it. Yeah. So my answer is time warp if I can't choose Kelly's for Sweet Transvestite.
I mean, it's a solid 1 and 2. I'm with you, Caleb. That was my answer too, was time warp, because I just feel like it's the I don't know, it's the transition scene, so to speak, you know, where it's like you're either really in on this movie or we're going to lose you here. You don't get to see everything in time warp because we're still waiting for Frankenfurter, but it's just like, this is, for me personally, like I love Damn It, Janet, like that was all funny, but once the time warp, all that was happening, you could see all the different characters we had on screen. I was like, okay, I'm fucking really in. Like, I'm here for this.
Okay, so this is that type of movie.
Yes,
all right,
exactly. And it's like, it doesn't spoil the Frankenfurter reveal. Because, you know, in my mind, it's like, let's have them commit to the whole movie. If you like time warp, let's watch the whole thing. But it just, leads in so perfectly. So yeah, I'm with Caleb on this too. Time warp, I think, is the way to go. But it sounds like we all just got that kind of time warp Frankenfurter scene is the best.
Yeah. I mean, time warp is probably my favorite scene in the movie, and it has by far the biggest laugh I got was the narrator when it keeps jumping back to him and he's getting more and more agitated, trying to tell you how to do the dance. I was fucking rolling.
It felt like some like Monty Python kind of shit, you know, where it's like, oh, we'll cut to the narrator and he's like on top of his desk and stuff like,
oh my God.
It.
Okay. So that's good. Totally I've never connected those two movies, but that's totally the same vibes. And I love Holy Grail. So
yeah. Oh, I love it. Yeah.
To me, the funniest scene is You Better Wise Up, Janet Weiss, where he says, You're as sensual as a pencil.
So good.
Your apple pie don't taste too nice.
Sensual as a pencil just gets me every time. That will never stop being funny.
That is rough.
See, that's the beautiful thing about a movie like this. I don't even remember what you're talking about. And so I know every time I watch this movie, I'm going to discover more stuff, and I'm super excited about it. Yeah, I got to get my hands on. I guess there's some like handbook you can get to like how to do the call and responses at the movies. I got to get my hand on that and go see this thing in person.
That too.
We gotta do that.
Yeah, that's. So, after I watched this, I did a bunch of trivia research. I read some cool articles about the movie. And I just wondered if assuming y'all did some research, or maybe you don't have to because you'll know it so well.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite trivia bits of trivia about this movie? Anything you've come across recently or throughout the years? Kelly, I'll start with you.
Yeah, because I've got one. And I actually didn't realize this till much later, but the lips in science fiction double feature that, it opened the movie, that's Patricia Quinn. That's Magenta.
I love that you told me that. I was wondering who that was. That's awesome.
Yeah. And growing up, I'd always heard that it was Tim Curry's lips, but that's not true.
Yeah.
And I don't know who told me that to begin with, but no, it's Patricia Quinn. Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, that's all. I was wondering myself, and in fact, I remember reading when I was doing research. I didn't even get an answer when I was looking around, so I love it. That's great. What about you, Benjamin? What do you have for us?
I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit later, but I was just blown away that this was Tim Curry's debut on screen.
Yeah.
I know that he had been performing this for a couple years at least. And that's kind of ties into my favorite trivia is that they just kept so much of the original cast. Riff Raff was the guy who created the play, right? Rocky Horror Show. And that was kind of the, they wanted to get the film rights and they're just like, cool, we'll give you, I think the budget they offered him was something like 10 million or something like that, but they wanted to have American stars in it. So they were going to have like Elvis do the Meatloaf part and Vincent Price wanted to be in it. But he was just like, no, we can do the movie, but I want as much of the original cast as possible. And so they slashed their budget down to like $1.4 million. Like, all right, well, here you go. This is what you get now. And so, yeah, just kind of a combo of those two things, just it being his on-screen debut and the fact that it just stayed so much with the original cast that they were so true, I guess, or so connected to the material. It's like, no, we're not going to Americanize this. We're going to keep it as it is. This is what we want. I guess the concession was to have some American actors in there, which is where Barry Bostwick and Susan Sarandon come from because, Fox wanted to be able to promote it in America, whatever. But yeah, anyways, that's mine. I was just blown away by this performance.
Yeah. Well, and it's not easy to go from stage to screen, right? The way you perform on screen doesn't always the way you perform on stage doesn't always necessarily translate to the screen.
Yeah.
And so the fact that Tim Curry could do it so effortlessly and seamlessly, it looks like he's made this movie 1,000 times. And I guess in some ways he sort of has, but he jumps out of the screen. So yeah, it's incredible. I didn't know it was his debut until you told me.
Yeah, I think it's awesome.
That's incredible.
On stage, you say play for the back of the room, so you're loud, you're, over exaggerated. And this role kind of calls for that, which I think is a natural segue into doing this. You want to be big and performative, but he just performed it so well. He knew when he didn't need to be over the top. And I think it's what makes his performance wonderful.
Yeah, for sure. Caleb, what about you?
So within that rabbit hole that I keep mentioning that I dove down, I found out that there is a yet unshot that I guess Disney technically owns now, but there's a script for a proper sequel to Rocky Horror, not like the spiritual sequel of Shock Treatment, right?
Yeah.
I can't call it shock therapy.
Shock treatment.
Shock treatment. Anyway, it's called The Old Queen, and it's basically about Riff Raff and Magenta returning home immediately after.
I would so watch that. I would so watch that.
That'd be interesting.
And I haven't read it yet, but I did find the bootleg script and printed out with State of Nevada resources because I printed it at work.
All right.
Oh my
So
God.
I'm gonna eventually, I'll send it to you, Kelly. I see your face.
Put it on. Like you and Rock Theory, and like, let's do a thing.
Oh my
Let's do
God.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
A podcast performance. Let's do
Yeah.
It's
this.
called The Old Queen, and I have to read through it, but I guess it's a really, according to whoever posted it, they're like, it's a pretty decent sequel to like, it's the sequel we all deserved, not the sequel that we got. So I'm like, it's just sitting on the floor in my room right now. I keep meaning to read it, but probably this weekend I'll look through it. But I was just like, oh, if there's like one wish I could have, I'd be like, I want to direct The Old Queen, please. Thank you.
That'd be rad.
I feel like we almost lost Kelly. She's about to log off and
Yeah.
go find the script.
Gotta go, guys. Sorry, something came up.
The wheels are turning. Yeah, I'm thinking like me as Magenta, maybe Matt could be Riff Raff.
I love it.
Yes.
Yeah, I talked about it earlier, but I just love how the audience has become such an integral part of the viewing experience for this movie. I guess, people throw toast at the screen when they propose a toast. At one point, and I think it was at a theater in New Orleans, someone rode their motorcycle into the theater to like coincide with Eddie's entrance into the thing. And I love that it grew organically. Like this all happened pre-internet, I feel like this might be like the first like meme movie,
Honestly,
like,
yeah.
And I don't know. I just think that's incredible. And it just speaks to the community around it and how important it is. And I don't know, reading through all of that just made me so jealous that I've never seen it in person. And so I'll rectify that at some point, but.
And apparently you still can because Disney wasn't an asshole about it. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Shout out Walt. Thank you.
I was Googling like crazy some live show because they usually have it on sometime around Halloween, but since it's still like technically COVID, they weren't putting it on again. So I'm like, I want to go see it live again.
I haven't seen anything around here either.
Have either of you seen it live?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming it's like I'm describing, like everywhere. It's just everyone gets all into it like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I lost my voice from screaming so much. I couldn't talk for like 2 days afterwards after seeing that, like just from screaming and laughing and dancing. And it's such a great experience.
Yeah, it sounds like so much fun. Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, so I mean, I feel like you'd be worn out after watching this movie, and you wouldn't be able to have the energy to sit through another movie. But we have a segment we call the Adam Driver Drive-In Double Feature, which maybe we should, I know that's Matt's thing, but maybe we should rebrand it to be the Rocky Horror Double Feature Picture Show.
Science fiction double feature.
That's right, science fiction double feature.
At least on this episode alone. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we'll just make it the longest name ever. Adam Driver Science Picture Double Feature Picture Show. I can barely say that. But yeah, if you had to pair this with, maybe we're to drive-in, right? We talked about drive-ins earlier. And what would you pair this with? And Caleb, I'll start with you.
So I think I already kind of answered it earlier, but Monty Python and the Holy Grail double feature with Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Which one goes first?
Pretty good pairing.
Yeah.
Which one goes first? Monty Python or
Python.
Rocky Horror?
Like Rocky Horror, you Rocky Horror can't be a pre-show. Like you got to end on that high.
Yeah. I like that.
I think that's solid. That's a good pick. What about you, Kelly?
So I had thought about pairing it with Shock Treatment because that's kind of like an obvious pairing. But I had also thought, wouldn't it be fun to pair it with like a John Waters film, like a Divine film, like a Hairspray or something like
that? Yeah.
That would be fun.
Cry Baby. Like, Hairspray would be great.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So that's kind of where my mind was going on.
Same thing. Would you lead off with Hairspray?
Yeah.
Cool.
Now that you said Crybaby, I kind of like Crybaby better.
I mean, it's your double feature. You do what you want.
Yeah, you're in charge here. There's still time.
Another good one would be like maybe one of the movies he references in the lips scene. Like he references like between like 7 and 10 movies, I think, and you can find those movies online. So
that was literally my answer, was Flash Gordon. No, it's totally fine. This is a perfect segue, because I was trying to think of like, all right, what's something that's like a little campy, but it's got a good soundtrack, whatever. I was like, Queen did the soundtrack for Flash Gordon. It's, I don't know if either of you guys have seen it. It's nuts. It's a weird movie. It's like so strange. And honestly, like I think I'm the one that would like maybe reverse it and show Rocky Horror Picture first, because then if you want to leave, you don't have to stay for Flash Gordon. I mean, I guess you could also just like come late and just do Rocky Horror. But yeah, it's a weird movie. And I just think, when I was thinking, listening to the song, I was like, oh yeah, Flash Gordon was there in silver underwear. Like that'd be really good for people to be like, oh yeah, that's what they talked about earlier. So that would be my answer. But yeah, great minds. I like it.
That is a good answer. I honestly kind of had a hard time with this question. All I could think about was the Frankenstein aspect of it. And I thought maybe let's watch young Frankenstein, get in a silly mood. And then, once the sun goes down, we can jump into Rocky Horror Picture and put on our fishnets and throw shit at the screen. I think that'd be a pretty fun night. And in fact, the in-laws I'm staying with, they were watching Young Frankenstein just the other night. So I kind of actually had that experience in a weird way. And it works.
I like it.
I haven't seen Young Frankenstein in years and years. So now I'm going to have to go watch it after I watch Rocky Horror again.
Do the double feature. Do Tyler's double feature.
Yeah, watch Young Frankenstein first and then watch Rocky Horror. And report back.
Yeah,
let us know on Twitter, Instagram, like and subscribe at 3filmspod, all social media platforms. Seamless plug.
Seamless.
So we have a segment, we call it our Rushmore Mountain. We pick a theme, and then we pick our 4 favorite things that match that theme. And in honor of Tim Curry, I'd like to talk about on-screen debuts, film debuts. And so, what are your 4 favorite film debuts that you can think of? What did I say that? Did I say that in a way that makes sense?
You did.
What are 4 movies
we stumbled into it? We got it.
An actor's on-screen debut.
These are OR scrubs.
Oh, are they?
And if y'all need a minute to look at some lists or prepare, we can accommodate that, and I'll start with Ben.
I think, one of the best ones has to be.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google too.
Yeah, do it. I think one of the best ones has to be Alan Rickman in Die Hard. That's kind of insane that Hans Gruber was like his first role on screen.
Right.
It's crazy. Even after looking at lists, I've got to put Tim Curry on there because this performance was just so solid. Like I don't want to say he carries the movie because there's a lot of great parts in here, but he is like the through line, I think, throughout the entire thing. And if his performance doesn't keep up with everyone else's, it falls apart. And he was wonderful. So I'd go with
this
him.
Movie doesn't work if he's not as good as he is.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot that I saw that was like, oh yeah, that's good. But I actually really enjoyed John Boyega in Attack the Block. Another kind of Halloween scary movie. They get invaded by aliens and they've got to like protect their neighborhood essentially. So that's a really good movie if you haven't seen it. And then I just felt like we had to go for the namesake here. I mean, we call it Rushmore Mountain for a reason. So I'm gonna go with Jason Schwartzman in Rushmore. I think that was a great way to start out his career.
I like your nurse's uniform, guy.
These are OR scrubs.
Oh, are they? Well, they're totally inappropriate for the occasion.
Well, I didn't know we were going to dinner.
That's because you weren't invited.
And,
for sure.
It's turned into... Is
this the first official Rushmore? I know we had one that was like an honorable mention or something.
Yeah, I think this is our first official mention of Rushmore on a Rushmore. So whatever title that gives me, I'm going to take it. And I'm wearing my Rushmore shirt for that reason. So
beautiful.
Triple Rushmore. We're good to go.
We need to start keeping track of every time the movie Rushmore actually makes a Rushmore so we can have our Rushmore.
That would be good. Maybe on our website we'll have that functionality. Who knows? Who knows?
I'll talk to the intern, see if he can build that in for us.
What's on your side?
Well, I had a few crossovers. I had Alan Rickman as well.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know what else I could say about that. Natalie Portman in Leon the Professional.
Yeah.
I'm debating whether or not I'll keep this next person. Although, this movie, the Rocky Horror Picture Show, in a lot of ways helped a lot of people find themselves, and Cameron Diaz in some ways did that for me in The Mask. That came out when I was like, oh, okay, I like this. So I'm going to throw her on my list here. And then another Wes Anderson film, Owen Wilson in Bottle Rocket. I mean, you could pick either of the Wilson brothers, but we'll go with Owen. I love him. So yeah, we'll go with Portman, Diaz, Rickman, and Wilson for my Rushmore Mountain. And I can keep babbling on. That was a fantastic Wilson.
This sounds spot on.
Yeah.
Just prepping for it.
And if our guests need more time, I can keep chatting about something. But
yeah, or we can just cut this part out too. No big deal. Some of the others that I thought of that came up on lists, like Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, he's built it into a career defining role,
Yeah.
Luke's kind of whiny and annoying in that movie, but he's turned it into something great.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good.
There were a lot of movies that I hadn't seen that I'm like, okay, I know this actor is great, and this was their first movie, but I've never seen it, so I can't pick it. That was the hard part for me.
The hardest one I left. Oh, do it. Yeah. What do you got?
Okay.
Kelly, coming in hot.
Okay. So Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween.
Oh, good.
Yes.
That's just what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I had to leave her off, but she's so good.
Johnny Depp in A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep.
Okay.
Emma Stone in Superbad.
Oh, yeah.
That was her first?
Yes, according to the
wow.
Googles.
Yeah, I like it.
No. It's gospel now.
Edward Norton in Primal Fear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's so good.
So that was one. I'm like, if I've never seen Primal Fear. There's a lot of movies I haven't seen.
It's so good.
I haven't seen Primal Fear either.
It sounds like it's something good for spooky season.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it'll make its way onto the pod, I'm sure. Richard Gere, Let's have a Richard Gere round.
Okay, I have 4. 3 of them are repeats, but
that's okay.
Perfect.
So Kelly took my Jamie Lee Curtis Halloween, and then Johnny Depp in Nightmare on Elm Street. But those are 2 really great debuts, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. Classics for a reason.
And then just for my love of Star Wars, I have to steal Mark Hamill as a really good debut. And then I just found this one. Apparently, Mary Poppins was Julie Andrews' debut.
That's
and I absolutely love Mary Poppins.
That's a great choice.
Those are my 4.
Cool.
I mean,
we've got some solid Rushmores.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And there's a little bit of crossover, but not as much as I would have thought. I mean, like I said, the hardest part for me is because there's so many debut movies I haven't seen. I thought Brad Pitt's debut movie was Thelma and Louise, but I guess there was some other movie before that.
I haven't seen it either. I saw it when I was scrolling, but I haven't seen it either.
Yeah. So there was a lot of stuff like that. I'm like, well, I mean, this actor's great, but I've never seen this movie. So.
Frances McDormand in Blood Simple. I saw Blood Simple a long time ago, but I don't remember it. But she's Frances McDormand, so she's great in anything.
Right.
But I wanted to go with stuff that I remembered.
I quite well remember Johnny Depp in his croc top.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's one of the best kill scenes ever. Being sucked into the bed. That's not my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie, though. I actually like Dream Warriors better. I like part 3 the best.
It's good to know. I think, I've only seen 1 actually.
Oh, really?
I'm all blank stares over here. I'm not a scary movie guy, so I'm like, I don't know. It's probably good. That's why I couldn't do Jamie Lee Curtis. I love Jamie Lee Curtis, but I've never seen Halloween. I know it's great, but I can't. I know. I'm gonna have to watch it. That's one that I'll have to watch, like Nightmare on Elm Street. That's another one I'll have to watch at some point.
Halloween Kills is coming out this weekend, and I'm going to be there on Saturday with my partner, and I'm so excited.
That'll be good.
That's awesome.
I liked the recent sequel that they did. I thought it was good.
No,
I'm
that was
all here
fabulous.
for Judy Greer.
For Halloween.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
There's theories out
Judy
there
Greer.
that Judy Greer is not going to make it out of that movie. I hope she does though, because I love her in it.
Otherwise, we'll have to say goodbye to these. All right.
Hey, no TV and movie club.
No TV. That's right.
That's right. Well, so that's all that I had.
Arrested Development, when she'd always like flash people.
Yes. Because she's in Archer too. I'm pretty sure.
She is. She's great in that.
Sorry.
She's so funny. No, you're good. I was just track. I mean, that's fine, and we can keep going. That's all I had prepared for the episode. If there's anything else y'all want to talk about, anything else that you wanted to cover that we didn't cover, speak now or forever hold your peace.
I'll take that as all my topics. Yeah, that I wanted to.
Yeah, cool. Well, I think that
okay.
This is good.
This is a good time. Yeah.
Yeah. No, this was an absolute blast. Thank you both for joining us. Thanks for putting up with my rescheduling.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm glad it worked out. I couldn't have asked
for a better co-guest. So
I know when I put it out there,
we were saying since we were babies in the podcast.
That's right.
So, we still are babies, but
sure.
No, we're the old folks now. Like I'm running the newbies group over on Good Pods.
Well, take another moment to promote yourselves for everyone listening. Caleb, let's start with you this time. Tell the people where they can find you. Give them a reminder.
So it's again called the Paranormal Burrito. You'll find it when you see the cute ghost logo in headphones eating the burrito. Has a bit of hot sauce on his lips. Nice. I'm going to start probably a fundraiser for Christmas. I have my artist who did the logo. This is an exclusive for you guys. I haven't even announced it on my podcast, but she is designing the ghost as a Santa Claus, and those stickers will be available for any type of donation to any type of charity, and I'll send you one.
Perfect.
And then I also have another podcast that Kelly's been on called That's Not Fair, the podcast. It's only up to like 2 episodes right now. I'm going to get back into it. But you guys are more than welcome to come on. That's basically a comedy game show where I fulfill my narcissistic need to be a game show host. And I ask everybody subjective questions. And if you've ever seen Wait, Don't Tell Me, there's a panel of judges that judges the subjective questions like, where were you born? And one person will say Denver, one person will say New York. And then the judges get to decide if New York or Denver is better and award that person points.
That's
the
awesome.
Points are all meaningless. Everything is meaningless. It gets off track and gets very dirty very fast, and it's a blast.
That sounds awesome, man. I'd love to join. That'd be super fun.
Yes, Kelly's been on it, so she can attest.
Nice.
Caleb's great, and all his stuff is great.
I believe it. What about your stuff, Kelly? Where can the people find you?
So, we are Drunk Theory. We are everywhere. Come hang out with us on Good Pods. I'm running multiple groups over there. I got Boozy Pods and my podcast Randomizer and newbies.
We're going to get in on that.
I have a whole group for newbies where, they share their stuff and ask for advice and stuff because, I'm an old podcaster now. Like,
yeah.
Drunk Theory even wins awards and shit. I don't know why, but we do. Yeah. So yeah, you can find us everywhere. And watch my TikToks if you want to know how to make the drinks.
For sure. I do.
Drunk Theory podcast on TikTok. We're really active on Twitter. We're on there all the time playing games and stuff. So yeah, cool. Come hang out and have some fun with us.
Also, Kelly and I both share theme songs in the fact that Jonathan Mann did both of our theme songs, and they're both amazing for the podcast.
Sweet. Everybody talks about how we have the best theme songs, and that's because they were created by the same person.
It's because it's Jonathan Mann, and he's
I was
amazing.
actually going to bring that up.
Need a theme song
earlier, and then I forgot about it. But we share theme song guys.
I really enjoy you guys' theme song. My cousin made ours, so I'm super stoked on it. But I love a well done theme song. I think you guys both have that, so that's awesome. Shout out Jonathan Mann.
Jonathan Mann.
Yes.
Shout out Jonathan
amazing.
Mann. Cool. Yeah. Well, shout out Jonathan Mann. Shout out the Paranormal Burrito. Shout out Drunk Theory. Thanks again for joining us. And for those that are listening on Spotify or Good Pods or wherever you find your podcasts, or maybe you're watching on YouTube, thanks for joining us. Tell your friends, follow us at 3 Films Pod on all social platforms. And we'll see you next time. This has been 3 Films and a Podcast.
See ya.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Lovely party.